I dream sort of out of the box, but people could dream that high. But it's about how do we get the biggest megaphone and make the biggest amount of policy to affect people on every level? Because I'm not just dealing with mental health. I'm dealing with housing issues that are not affordable. I'm dealing with mental health issues. I'm dealing with fentanyl issues. I'm dealing with people that have to get help for their children with disabilities that are on the spectrum. All of that. So while and also the other thing that I do is I do PTSD evaluation for veterans. And that is my bread and butter. And that's what I do every day that I'm not here, is do PTSD evaluation. So between those things, I'm thinking we can do better. We can do better for our veterans. We can do better for our children. We can do better for everyone if we get policy in place to make sure that these things count. So as a psychologist, my job will be to make sure that we put a mental health lens on every policy that comes through Washington. And what do I mean by that? If you look at the gun issues, look at it as a mental health issue for a minute. People without a sense of purpose, people who feel like they have no power, but also between the ages of 16 to 25, that's when my clients, especially the males, are going to show up with mental illness, with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. We have to do something about letting weapons get into the hands of young people before they are tested by or examined by a doctor or someone, right? Also, doesn't it make sense, because we have driver's license where if you're going to drive a car, you get a regular driver's license. If you're going to drive a bigger vehicle, you get a chauffeur's license if you're going to carry people around. If you're going to drive a semi-truck, you better go get CDL license and make sure you know how to drive. We need to put that same sensibility to our gun laws. Yes. Let them graduate. If you're going to have these big weapons, make sure you've got the license to carry, make sure you have the training, make sure you have the expertise, and you get a little belt buckle that says, hey, you deserve that weapon. You've done everything you need to do to have that weapon. But it also gives us an opportunity to know who has what, so that our police officers are protected out here while they're trying to protect us, right? The way we opened that up made no sense, made absolutely no sense. For those of you who want to know about women's rights, I'm sorry, but I am for women's rights, to protect women's rights to choose their body, what their body is going to do. So what they can do in the doctor's office should be between them, their doctor, and their religious leader if they want that as well. But if we let women's rights go to the wayside, it's a slippery slope. Very slippery slope. Exactly. And more than anything, it's about medical privacy. No one should be in the exam rooms with you. No one beside you and your doctor, and maybe a family member if you want them there. But then it's your choice, women's right to choose. Now, don't get me wrong. I want as many beautiful babies to get here as possible. I think we need more beauty. We need more sense of this life is going to go on. But we want to make sure they have the right environment. We want to make sure they can breathe and eat the food and have the water that's clean. We also want to make sure that the women who carry them have safe places to have babies. We are a shortage of OBGYNs. Women are dying in childbirth. And it's personal for me because Black women, 3 times that rate, are dying in childbirth. So we've got to make sure that we have policies in place to address that and make sure we have money flowing so that we have people that are addressing these issues. Does that make sense? Are we there? Yeah, women's rights? Are we okay with that? Yeah. Is it okay that I represent you with all my heart, body, and soul to make sure that women's rights are protected at all costs? Because I'm going to do that. We're going to make sure that housing is affordable. We'll try to get some of these hedge funds and everything from buying up all the property and then charging so much more, because your children's rights to own a home, we've got to protect that. But right now it's skyrocketing out of control. We've got to make that doable. We've got to release them from some of the student debt so they can buy a home. We've got to do something to move that economy. We've got to do something to excite the base.